All right, everyone. Welcome to the IT Masters 2025-30 closing date webinar. Today, we're talking about studying postgrad in 2025 and the things you might need to know. We're going to cover a few things tonight. I've put together a little agenda tonight. We'll cover the IT Masters courses that we have on offer and just what's new and different about them. We can talk about getting a master's with no previous study or how to get your master's the fastest possible. We've got an eligibility expert here tonight to talk about the ways to get credit, which is, I think, very interesting to a lot of people. And she'll also be talking a little bit about if you're eligible and how to find out and all that sort of thing. I'm going to cover a little bit about studying at IT Masters, and I will touch on AI do's and don'ts, so that might be interesting. And then we're going to finish up with fees and the most cost-effective way to get your master's, because obviously that is something of interest to a lot of people. If I didn't say it, if you didn't hear it before, I'm Chantelle Hale. I'm the IT Masters CEO and the academic director. We've also got Anna here, who is our eligibility officer. And with that, let's dive on in. As I said before, if you have questions that you need answered about the content, please put them in the Q&A section, and we'll make sure to get to as many of those as we can. But as it stands, let's go on through. So if you're here, you've probably heard of us before, but if you haven't, IT Masters is a company that offers online postgraduate IT Masters qualifications with Charles Sturt University, a university in Australia. All of our courses are online. 50% of the courses are what we call academic subjects. So those are designed and delivered by Charles Sturt University. They have more of a theoretical bent. A lot of the time they're giving you that theoretical understanding of the underpinnings of a topic. And then half of the subjects are what we call industry subjects. These are designed and delivered by IT Masters. We use industry professionals to create them. A lot of them are based on industry qualifications. So it could be CISSP or ethical hacking, certified ethical hacker qualification. So you can get credit for that, and we will talk about that in a little bit. But the idea is to give you real world experience and understanding of topics and using industry professionals to teach those so that you can not only understand the concepts you're learning, but then learn how to apply them in a real world scenario. Because it's one thing to learn about networks or cybersecurity. It's another thing to find out what you're expected to do if you are working within those industries. So we have several different areas that we offer qualifications for. We've got cybersecurity, cloud computing and virtualization, networking and systems administration, computing, career transition, project management, and business administration computing that has specializations. So the key thing about this is I've broken these into two areas. The first four are areas where the grad cert, which is 4 subjects in a qualification, we have Commonwealth supported places available for Australian students. And these are massively discounted. We'll speak a little bit about it later, but these are massively discounted. It's a really good deal for students. So if you are interested in studying postgrad, start with your grad cert, get a really discounted qualification in your graduate certificate, and then you can move into your master's, which is 12 subjects with full credit into that master's. So cybersecurity, cloud computing and virtualization, and networking and systems administration, they all have a grad cert and then they move into a master's. The computing career transition is just a grad cert. It's like a taste tester kind of grad cert. You can do basically any subject from any of our qualifications so that you can sort of work out what you want to do. And then you can take those subjects and move them into a master's with credit. It's a really good way to study if you're not quite sure which area to go into, but you still want to, get that cheap CSP qualification and also study, start your study off. And then below here, we have project management and business administration. We don't have Commonwealth supported places for these qualifications, unfortunately. We do have grad certs and masters in both of those. And in project management, we also have a grad dip, which is nice. It's just an extra step. So you could do the 4 subjects in the grad cert, then an extra 4 subjects to get the 8 subject grad dip, and then an extra 4 subjects to get your master's project management. If you are interested in those, you can still study the grad cert of computing career transition because all of those subjects are available there and they're significantly cheaper. So if you are an Australian student paying for your studies, it, it'd be silly not to take advantage of the grad certs, basically. It's a big saving, which we'll talk about soon. So I'm going to pass over to Anna for a little bit just to talk about how your journey to a master's might look.
Sweet, thanks, Chantal. So your journey to a master's. So basically, you'll meet eligibility if you have at least 2 years of professional experience in the area you want to specialize in, or if you already have a bachelor's degree. It doesn't even have to be in IT. You'll meet eligibility to go straight into the master's program directly. So like Chantal touched based on, we do have some Commonwealth supported placements which offer discount on your tuition. And we would actually recommend starting with a grad cert. The reason for this is, like Chantal mentioned earlier, 4 of our grad certs qualify for CSP funding, which is a huge saving. So starting with a grad cert will also allow you to take things one step at a time while breaking your studies into smaller, more manageable chunks. And plus, the subjects that you study in the grad certs will count towards your future master's courses. So, to give you an idea, without the CSP discount, a grad certificate would typically costs around $16,000, which is pretty standard for Australian grad certificates across the board. With the CSP subsidy, this drops down to just $5,000. So you're saving about 71% off your course fees, which is a pretty significant saving. We also have a session coming up in 3 weeks, starting on the 3rd of March. And there are still some spots available for CSP funding places. They do fill up pretty quickly, but as of now, there's still spaces if you're looking to kickstart your studies next month as well. Thanks, Chantelle.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll move on and we'll talk about industry certs.
Neat. I can touch base on that. So in addition, we do assess a broad range of industry certifications as they continue to evolve and expand. So we work with a number of recognized vendors, and we also have a large database of certifications that already have been assessed and can be used for credit towards for our grad certificates or master's courses. So you can apply for credit by filling out our eligibility form on our website where you can list your certifications. So once you submit it, we'll get in touch and assess whether those certifications can count towards your credit. If you have certifications, and feel free to send through an inquiry. It's always worth checking as many of the larger vendors' certifications qualify, and we assess a wide variety of others as well. If you don't see any of your studied cert vendors listed here, feel free to get in touch. Some of our certifications may even earn credit for up to 3 subject credits towards either our grad certificates or master's courses. So it's a great way to have your competency recognised and reduce both study time and costs. So for each credit earned, you're making a significant savings. So there is a credit policy with CSU which allows you up to 50% off your course through credit, which is especially helpful for your master's program, as those are full fee subjects. So just to give you some context, full fee master subjects where CSP doesn't apply are $4,050 each. So if you earn 3 credit for 3 subjects, that's about a $12,000 in savings, which is definitely worth checking if your certificates qualify as credits. We also have a certificate finder tool there, which is an easy way to search and see if your certifications qualify for credit as well. Okay, cool. So, and just to make it even easier for you to integrate industry certifications into your credit pathways, we're now offering a range of certifications directly through IT Masters. So right now we've got 2 comp tier courses and exams available. So we've got the Pen Test Plus and Security Plus. So each of these have an introductory short course too, which means you can also take advantage of the short course discounts that we offer. If you're already an IT Master's Postgraduate Studies student, sorry, there's an even bigger discount. As you can see, there's a 30% discount on our short courses there. So you can also register for all these discounts on the ITM store page link provided there as well. So our goal is to make education available to you when it fits your needs. You can start your career with a short course to get familiar with the topic, and then later follow up with the full industry certification when you're ready. And then down the line, there's some certifications. You can use the same certifications to count as credit towards your postgraduate course, giving you the chance to earn back the cost of the certification. So we're also planning to add more certifications to the store throughout this year. So definitely keep an eye out. Just know that the discounts may vary from course to course, but just rest assured we're always working to find you the best deals that we can.
Great. So I'm going to talk about a different way to get credit for just a little bit. We've got our IT Masters short courses, and I think most of you would probably have heard of these. That's how we get a lot of our attendees. But these are little tiny, like 4-week tastes of our subjects. They are designed usually based on 4 weeks of material on one of the actual subjects. So we use our actual mentors to teach them. You get an experience of what it's like to study with IT Masters, but on a bit of a bigger scale, and it's free, completely free. And if you complete 3 of these short courses, you're eligible for 1 unspecified industry credit in the IT Masters courses. So it's a great way to not only get some credit, but also just to test out our courses, to find out whether you like studying online, to find out whether you like the way we present material. These are 3 of the courses that we've offered recently. Pen Testing 2025 is just finishing up, so you can attend that last webinar on Thursday, I believe it is, maybe it's tomorrow. But even if you miss out on the first 3, you can go back and attend any of these short courses that we still have up there. We take them down if they're out of date, but if they're still in date, if they're still with relevant material, we keep them up. You can pass any 3 of them and end up with a free elective credit in our courses, which is yet again a nice way to save some money. And one of the important things to note is credit can be applied at any point during your studies. So you can sit your short courses, pass 1 or 2 of them, start studying with us, pass another one, and apply that credit while you're studying. Maybe it could be the last subject you were meant to study. And so if you do just decide to study with us, it is important to talk to the IT Masters team about those credit so that you can apply them where it makes the most sense and where it saves you the most money, and to make sure that you're not going over that 50% credit rule that is set by the government, where we can't give more credit into our courses than 50%. So yeah, talk to our experts, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but it's just a really good way to make sure that you don't miss out on any potential savings as you study.
So, thanks, Chantelle. So we've also partnered up with the ACS, which is the Australian Computing Society, which is a great option if you've got any previous work experience that you'd like to have assessed for credit. So normally the assessment goes through ACS, and they have a specific criteria for evaluating your experience. So based on your work background, ACS can award you either a certified technologist or at a professional level. So the technologist level can earn you credit for 1 industry level subject towards either our grad certificate or master's program, whilst the professional level one can give you up to 2 subject credits. So if you've got experience or are thinking of applying, it's definitely worth checking out. This could really cut down on your study time and save you a lot of money by allowing your industry experience to count for credits in your course. So the ACS assessment typically costs around $800, but it can make a huge difference in terms of both time and cost savings as well.
Yeah. And then the last way to get credit into your courses is previous university study. So you may have done a master's previously, or you could have just done half of a qualification. If it's postgraduate level study, we can assess it for subject credits. If there's an 80% match between what you've previously studied and a subject in your current course, you could be eligible for university credit, which anytime you can cut off subjects that you're going to study, that saves you time and money. And it's a really good way to use your previous experience, especially if you did half of qualification but then didn't finish it. It's nice to get some recognition for that. And again, there are lots of ways that we offer credit. And if you think you might be eligible for credit, Anna is the person to talk to. She's our eligibility expert, and she's going to talk a little bit about those eligibility assessments.
Thanks, Chantal. So with the eligibility ability assessments there, so you can enter via work experience. For some of our programs, you don't need a formal degree. If you have relevant work experience in the field, that can be enough to qualify for entry. So if you've been working in IT or a related area, your practical experience could open the door to postgraduate studies without needing to meet the traditional academic entry requirements. In terms of credit assessments by industry certifications, I can help you with that. So if you've earned any industry certifications, they could count for credit towards your course. It's a great way to leverage what you already know and reduce the number of subjects you need to take as well. If you did need to have a quick chat about your eligibility and you're unsure about whether you meet the eligibility requirements or have questions about credits or subject plannings, don't worry. You can fill out a quick form on our website there and share your work experience. Once we have those details, we can have a quick chat to discuss your individual eligibility and figure out the best pathway for you based on your goals. It's a simple process that will give you clarity on what you need to do next as well. Thanks,
Yeah.
Chantelle.
Eligibility is a great way for if you're unsure about what credit you could be eligible for, what's the best pathway to get the cheapest qualification for, for your time and to save the most time. It's the easiest just to fill out this form, and then Anna will give you a call or send you an email if you'd prefer that, and we'll have a little work with that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about studying at IT Masters. I think most of you might have experienced at least some of the short courses, but at the very least, I'm going to talk a little bit about our courses and what we in particular have to offer. So we have been around for more than 20 years, and we've always taught online. I don't really know how to teach face-to-face, but we've definitely done a lot of teaching online. And one of the key things that we always try to deliver for our students is a student-centered experience. So we know that everyone who's studying with us has families and often kids and full-time work and other things that may be of a higher priority than getting your assignment done. We've offered automatic 3-day extensions for assessments for a very long time, and CSU would, when we first offered it, they were like, oh, is that a good idea? And then eventually they're like, actually, this is a really great idea, because a lot of the time in your workplace, you might be asked to create something and then you can't get it done, and you ask your boss, oh, can I get this to you in a few days? And they say, yeah, that's fine, which is what we want to do for you guys here, is have that experience of, yeah, we understand that sometimes there are more important things in your life than your assessment for ethical hacking or whatever it is. So we want to give you that opportunity to contact us and say, listen, I can't do this right now. I need to get an extension. I need to get some extra help. We also have what we call our admin session support team. And I think this is a really important benefit for students here. So we have our industry professionals who teach the subjects, but they're not available 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. That's fine. We have actual admin professionals who are experts in your courses, because we only have so many of them. So you can call us up at any time and get a response from somebody who understands the course that you're studying, not just somebody from a university who is dealing with every student, who can get you an extension or help you get a deferred exam or whatever it is that you need. They can help you, or at least point you in the right direction. rather than dealing with a big university, you're dealing with a small arm of a university that can help you in any situation. And then you get to meet with the industry professionals once a week to have the interactive webinars, ask them questions, ask them about the assessments. What are we meant to be doing here? And find out exactly how the industry interprets this information, but without sacrificing that being able to contact somebody during the working day to get help with certain areas. So I think we've got this halfway point between being, providing you guys with industry knowledge, but also providing you with the university experience that is centered around what a student needs. If you become a student with us, I run orientation webinars, then we'll run a webinar where I'll go through how to create a Turnitin report and how to read that and all that sort of thing. And then you will have weekly webinars for your classes that you can access after the class runs if you are not available at that time, but all of them run at night after work finishes because our industry professionals have jobs too. And then you can attend, ask questions, interact with your peers, and participate in education from wherever you are. Because it is definitely our aim to make sure that you don't need to have a physical textbook. You don't need to attend classes. You can attend classes physically or attend an exam physically. You can study online no matter where you are. Just a little bit here about artificial intelligence. We did promise that we were going to cover it, so I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. We talk about it more in our actual classes. It's one of those important things to remember is that it's everywhere these days. Generative AI is included in all sorts of tools, and it's important to remember how and when you can use it because we all have gotten used to a certain amount of it. So obviously it's artificial intelligence capable of creating content like text, images, music, data, computer code even, in response to instructions. It is everywhere, but it is important to remember that you can't use it in every assessment, and this will go from every university you study with. So you might be able to use Grammarly or other tools to correct spelling, but in no assignment in a university will they not talk about AI and then let you use ChatGPT or whatever. So it is important when you are studying at any university you study at to confirm if you're allowed to use AI for the assessments. We have some assessments where we're like, yeah, you can use AI, but then we want you to use your own brain to adjust what you've created with that AI. And then check you can use AI to help with your learning. It can sum up an article and you can check what it said, if it's worth reading for your assessment, or to create study plans or create practice exams even. That's, a nice way to use it. If you are using AI, it's really important to remember to reference properly. Reference any tools the tools that you've used, anything you've created in your assessment. If you've written in your assessment that's not referenced, it's assumed that you created it. So it is important, if you use AI, you do have to reference it. When you are creating assessments, when you are a student with us, you have to remember not to present AI as your own work. You can be penalized for improper or unauthorized AI use, that's fine. Don't overuse AI. One of the key things when you're studying is that you want to know what you're talking about. And if you overuse AI, the danger then is it can be wrong. And we can tell if you've used it for everything because it will put errors in there that you don't catch, because if you overuse AI, you won't understand the concepts as well as somebody who just studied it. And don't use AI if it specifically says not to use it. That's pretty basic to understand. And remember that anything you share with AI, you can't control what happens to that information you upload. So you've got to be careful with yourself and your privacy and that of others, and be aware that most generative AI software will use your data to improve their technology. So that often involves sharing your data with others. So that's just a little bit on that. We do talk about it more when students actually join our classes because it's really important and it's, you know, obviously everywhere. So we're not going to just pretend that it doesn't exist, but we are going to ask you to use it responsibly and ethically. I'm going to pass back to Anna for a bit to talk about the most cost-effective way to get your master's.
Great, thanks for sharing these AI tips there, Chantelle. So here's an example of how you can use the CSP discounts to create a cost-effective pathway towards your master's. So this approach involves completing 2 grad certificates and then articulating into the master's program. So just keep in mind, this is all dependent on CSP being available. So it's worth checking that out as well as we go along throughout the sessions. For example, if you were to start with a grad certificate in cyber and then follow it up with a grad cert in cloud, we can strategically plan your subjects in both the grad certificates so they feed into your master's, whether it's in, cyber or cloud computing afterwards. So the best part is with the CSP discount, each IT subject costs just $1,164, meaning the total for your grad certificate will come to $4,656 there. Then you can move into the masters and you can carry over 8 CSP funded subjects. So that will leave you just 4 subjects at a full fee paying rate to finish your masters. If you look at the total cost, you're saving over $23,000, so down from nearly $48,600 there, which is more than a 50% cost savings there, which is a massive difference if you're looking to study there. So if CSP is available, like it is right now, it's a fantastic time to take advantage of this opportunity. So feel free to get in touch through our website to check your eligibility, and we can help you plan the best path for your future studies. We'll just probably have a chat about the fees and funding options next there, Chantelle. Thank you. So when it comes to fees and fundings for either CSP subsidised courses or full fee courses, we've got a few options. You can either choose to pay your fees upfront, which is usually invoiced based on the number of subjects you're enrolled in for that study period. So if upfront payment isn't your thing, you have the option to defer your fees through HexHelp. But just a note as well, HexHelp is only available for our Australian citizens. Another option is to split your payment where you can defer part of your fees through HexHelp loan and pay the remaining upfront if you like. Like again, this option is only available for our Australian citizens. And I think that's it from me there, Chantelle.
Great. So I think we're reached somewhere near the end of our content, but we are here to answer questions. And we had somebody saying, I'm interested in a combination of subjects for the grad cert, including cyber and AI. Is that possible? So we at IT Masters would really love to have more AI subjects, and we are looking into it, but it's slow going because this is a university and it takes time to make sure that everything is appropriately meeting all the guidelines. CSU do have a grad cert in applied AI that you can look into, but we have our grad cert in cyber and we have our grad cert in computer and career transition where you can choose from all our subjects, and they might be definitely the answers that you could be looking for here. I always joke that we need some background music so that I know if someone's typing a question in.
Do people have the option to unmic themselves and have a conversation on here, Chantelle?
They can put their hand up and I can allow to talk.
Yeah.
Typing standby. Thank you, Shane. Because I don't get a little Shane is typing a message. I'm gonna give Ritesh an ability to ask a question now.
Hi,
if they would like to.
hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I have just enrolled for the postgrad certificate in cloud computing and
Mhm.
visualization. So my aim was to do masters, but initially somebody advised me to do these 4 units first, as it's cheaper, and later on do another 4, uh, and then do the masters, another 4. So my question is, do I need to enroll on both postgrad certificate together or one after the other?
I mean, preferably it's one after the other. The only potential issue is if we don't get enough Commonwealth supported places so that you can get the cheap courses.
Yeah.
I really can't guarantee
Yep.
how many Commonwealth supported places we're going to get in the future. That is entirely up to
Yep.
Charles Sturt University. But you can, at the very least, make sure that you're enrolled in this qualification, the starting qualification. And if you really want to make sure that you've got all the qualifications lined up the cheapest possible, email our eligibility team or admin team, and we can talk to you about different options there. Anna, am I correct? Am I?
Yeah. Yeah, so we can look at concurrent studies as well there, Ritish. So I think CSP will still be available next session as well. So we could definitely look at utilizing that as well. So I can touch base with you tomorrow and we can go through that together as well.
Yeah. Another question
Mm.
is like if we are still doing these 4 units, like if I've
Mm.
taken one of the units initially, like next month, if I took one, and in the middle of doing this, the support is no more, can that
Mhm.
happen? And I
Mm.
I end up paying full amount for
Uh,
the other 2 units.
if you're enrolled in a grad cert,
Mhm.
the Commonwealth places won't. You'll have that Commonwealth supported place until the end of that grad cert,
Oh, okay.
so you don't
Okay.
have to
Right.
worry about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Mm.
So Shane has a really good question here. Gen AI uses data sets that can contain correct and incorrect information. Relying on Gen AI to write your own assignments is not a wise idea. Completely
Mm.
correct. What about using it to find references online, like using it to search for articles, legalization, or books? Okay, so the interesting part about this is some of the ways that we have seen that people have used Gen AI in their assignments in a way that is not supported by the assessment guidelines is by incorrect references. So you could use it to search for references, and if it comes up with references that you want to read that are relevant, great, good work. There is a chance, and we know for a fact that ChatGPT sometimes creates incorrect references. It's real weird. It's not great, but it is something that happens, which is part of the reason if you are going to study online, great. And if you want to use generative AI to try and get an understanding of things, you need your own basis of understanding before you use Gen AI to understand things, because sometimes it's real wrong. As you say, Shane, it can contain correct and incorrect information. If you understand the basics behind what you're talking about, that means that when you start to read through what they've said, you can work out what's incorrect or correct. And much the same as if you use it to find references online, great, you'll find if those references are incorrect or don't exist. So Gen AI, I think, is only useful in so much as if you have the basis knowledge for it, that's when it can become useful. If you don't know what you're talking about, Gen AI is pretty useless. Someone can argue with me if they want to on that one, but I tend to think if you don't have the basis knowledge for it, Gen AI is not going to write your assignments for you. It's not going to answer all your questions because sometimes it can be incorrect and you need to have enough knowledge to go, that sounds a little dodgy. And part of this comes down to like media literacy and understanding of these concepts, because it's like when you read an article and sometimes you read an article where you're like, the author doesn't understand this or these points as well as I do, and they might be incorrect here because no one has all the knowledge in the world. You could say Gen AI has all the knowledge in the world, but it doesn't have it has all the wrong knowledge as well. So it just combines all of it. There is basically no way to get all the information that you need to study a subject only from AI. You need to get it from understanding the core material. You know, I could say you're only cheating yourself if you use Gen AI to create your assessments, but if you don't understand the core material, you're going to get caught. It's going to be really obvious, and it will cause some issues. So somebody has said, can I please clarify that the grad cert career transition provides opportunity to combine cyber and AI? It's not a huge amount of AI there. If you contact us tomorrow, we can talk you through the subject offerings there and how you can what you can get from our courses, and then hopefully we can come up with something that works for you. Have we got any other questions? Just because Shane came up with a really good question there doesn't mean that no, there's no other questions that can be answered. And I'm going to stick around for a few minutes just in case there are people typing. If you do have further questions and you don't have time to write them here, or you're not sure how to ask them, obviously we've got eligibilityitmasters.edu.au is about if you have questions for becoming a master's student, but also we've got that 1300 885 685 number. And if you email other questions to eligibility that Anna can't answer, she'll just forward them on to us.
Thanks, guys.
So Jay has said, can overseas students register and study, but no need to be in Australia? That is true. Obviously, it does create issues, and maybe CSP isn't available to you, but you absolutely can. Well, thank you everyone for attending and for asking questions and listening to us blab on for a bit. I hope this was useful. If you have other questions, please feel free to email us at any time or call during business hours or outside of business hours, but you will just have to leave a message. And hopefully we can help you with any questions you have.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.